So, I said that I will make an alarak video, so I shall. Um, base, I got all the notes here in my notebook. I would show it, but it's messy and all over the place, and it doesn't make any sense unless you're me, so I guess better to just explain. So, baseline. The only actual baseline change I would make is telekinesis. Instead of being instant, it will now have a very, very, very short delay. So when you use it, instead of instantly pushing someone, it would have like a very small delay. Because right now, telekinesis has no counterplay. There is no counterplay to this, except like maybe end win push pull. So that's it. So instead of that, there's like no actual counterplay. So just that tiny bit of delay allows you to sidestep it, maybe, probably not, but like more realistically cleanse it, or like counter it with a different ability or something, right? So that's why the short delay is there. To balance that, first of all, a lot of the talents get like massively buffed, so I'm not sure if it's needed, but if it is needed, then W could also slow, so get the baseline, get like the level 7 baseline, right? Maybe not as good though, maybe like 25% for 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds. Additionally, I'd like him to have something to sustain. I didn't really make him a talent to sustain, but a lot of the talents here are based on him having to go close quarters. Because the build I really worked with a lot is like a Q basic attack build. So I do think he needs sustain. Maybe as a talent, maybe as a baseline. I thought something cool could be like if he auto attacks a silenced enemy, then he gets a shield, or auto attacking in general gives a shield, or maybe killing gives like a heal, so like Triumph in League of Legends. Or maybe like deaths, like minion or enemy deaths, cause him to like store up shield, and then he can like expend it with an ability or talent to give himself the shield. So something like that, right? Now to the actual changes. Level 1, let's start with the E quest. This one, I thought maybe it could be cool to remove the actual quest part, so he still loses sadism. But you get everything without the quest, and also you cannot get the 10% back, so it's a permanent loss in sadism. Now this sounds like a massive buff for the talent, but if you'll see later, I'm basing the E build a lot more on sadism, so it scales better with sadism. So the fact that you can no longer gain that sadism actually makes it a big nerf. If not, then just remove the sadism part, the hitting 3 champions give sadism part, and maybe make the quest easier. So that's the point. Get it earlier on, but don't have the ability to restore sadism. So it's actually a bit more of a risk versus reward talent. This could just be kept the same, honestly. This is not like a massive change that I think needs to happen. But W talent stays the same, I think, or maybe even removed. You'll see later why. The Q talent, and now gives attack speed and move speed instead. Right now it gives just attack speed, which doesn't make too much sense based on his other talents. So I thought giving 50% attack speed and 15% move speed sounds okay. So and instead of being like duration based, so right now it's like hitting an enemy with Discord Strike for 4 seconds. So what I thought could be cool is that like hitting an enemy with Q causes you to get like move speed and attack speed for the silence duration, so as long as the enemy is silenced. Why? So it scales better with some of the other talents that are here. If not, duration still works, right? Level 4, this is where the actual big changes start to happen. So let's start with Chaos Reigns. Right now, the way it works is hit 15 enemy heroes, you get 60. Hit 2 enemy heroes with one single Discord Strike, that gives you 60. Hitting 3 enemy gives you 100. The problem is that hitting 3 enemies is not realistic, and it's way too much of a power spike they give him. So if you can hit it early on, then it's way too overpowered, and if you can't, then it's just not good enough. And there is not a lot you could do to be better with this talent. It's a lot based on how good they are at not grouping up. This is really annoying in my opinion. I do not like this talent. So the way I chose to change it is okay, so it's still split to 3 parts, the quest. So silence, the first part of the quest is normal. Yeah, the 15 part I think stays the same. Okay, sorry, I read my notes more carefully. This is what I actually wrote down. Auto attack enemies that are silenced by Q 15 times, maybe even closer to 10 times. Um, the first part stays the same, so hit 15 heroes with a Q. This part stays the same. The second part is instead auto attack champions that are silenced by Q 15 times or maybe 10 times. And then the last part is hit 2 enemies with 1 Q 5 times. And this is much better. So the first 2 you could get very early on. That's still the same as here. You could get the first 2 parts early on. But the third part is reliable. Okay, it's still harder when you need to get it like later on. Because if you get like each of them early on, then it will be overpowered. So here you get a little bit more power early on, and the third part is not a power spike. So all 3 quest parts gives 80%. 80 damage, 80 bonus damage. So it's the same overall amount of damage, but it's spread it out much better. So you get a little bit more power early on, which is a little overpowered. I might need to like increase the numbers in this, so so it won't be like as early on, because getting like 140 wait, it's 160, sorry, 160 bonus damage pretty early on is kind of unrealistic. So this might needs to be looked at, but the fact that you can actually get the third part way easier, reliable, not easier. You cannot get it as early on, right? That's the whole idea. You cannot get the third reward early on, so it won't be like a massive power spike like it is right now and snowball the game out of proportion. But when you get it after, you get it like later on, it's not as overpowered. So that's the idea. Maybe if this seems not as balanced, they could still do it 60, 60, 100. Just so it won't be too much power early game. That once again depends on balancing. But the power stays the same, it's just more reliable to actually fully complete the quest. Let's go to the negatively charged. Oh, sorry, I forgot one thing about level 1. I wanted to add another talent to level 1, which might replace Ruthless Momentum, which is actually show force move to level 1, but it removes the sadism quest, right? So it's just the bonus damage, but it's level 1 now. Sorry. And then the sadism part is its own talent. So hitting hitting a hero with 3 abilities within 2 seconds, you get the sadism. And then like it stacks more. So instead of a 2 to 20, maybe it's 3 to 30. 3% to 30%. Maybe something like that, or maybe 2 to 30%. Once again, it's very much after balancing. In my opinion, this is much more balanced because I want Show of Force to actually be like a proper build. And you'll see later that I also get some more talents into it. So That's the change. Sorry, now to negatively charged. Okay. This is a changed functionality. I think the enemies within as victim to 175%. This part, the bonus damage on 75%, either needs to be changed or lowered down. And the actual quest part, repeatable quest, instead of increasing by a percentage, it's increased by a flat damage. So it works the same way as it does hitting an enemy with the middle part of it, but instead of a percentage, it's a flat amount. So right now it's like 4% per 4% out of 62 is sorry, give me a second. I'll take a calculator. I wrote down 7, but that's just a number, like a give me a second. I do 62 times 04, so 24%. So that should be 004. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. 62 times 04 like that. So 248. That might be a little too little. So I think 7 or 6 is a good number. So this scales better with sadism, because right now it just does not scale better with sadism. In addition, once again, if you want to make it scale better with sadism, instead of it being a percentage bonus, as you can see, if you hit the middle part, it's a percentage bonus damage. Instead, it could be an additional damage. So you deal 62 damage, but then if you hit the middle part, then it's 62, an additional 62. So it scales way better with sadism, because right now, if you don't know, E does not scale well with sadism. It just does not scale good with sadism. It's additive instead of like being percentage. If that makes any sense, you could go ahead into a custom game, do the math yourself. It scales okay with sadism. It's not like sadism is worthless. I just want to make it more sadism based, because I have a lot of changes to talents of sadism. Anyway, so that's level 7 now. Hitting an enemy with 1 second long. Okay. This is a Q talent. This is change to this talent, dissonance. Hitting an enemy with Q while the W slow is active deals 36 bonus damage and silences for 1 second longer. Might be a little too overpowered. Might need to be like 0.75 or 0.5 longer. In addition, if this is a little too overpowered, I thought like a neat idea is that auto attacking while silence duration is active increases the silence duration by an additional 0.75 seconds and gives a little bit bonus damage, right? So. But I actually wrote that down as a level 16 talent, but it could go here if this is a little too overpowered, right? So this talent obviously needs to be removed because, as I said, it's already baseline. So this is a new talent I have here. It's called Masochism. Again, placeholder, but taking over 139 damage with one attack. After taking over 139 damage with one attack, you deal damage in an AoE. You deal like, I don't know, 100 something damage in an AoE, and you shield for 56. The shield scales with sadism. So the idea is simple, right? You want to be meleeing them, and if you get like hit with burst attacks, and you will be dealing a lot of burst damage in an AoE. So you want to be up front, up close, auto attacking, causing havoc, causing mayhem. And when they damage you, they take a little bit of damage back, and you also get shield. If you live long enough, this is a very risk versus reward talent. So if you live long enough and you got lost sadism, then the shield will actually balance out the damage taken. So again, this might be a bit too overpowered, but I really like this idea of kind of not forcing you to melee, but very much rewarding for melee. So level 10. Applied Force might stay the same. I did not have any other talent written for level 7, so yeah, okay, so level 10, Deadly Charge is removed and Counter-Strike is massively changed. So right now the way Counter-Strike works is you take damage, right? And then you deny all the damage and then you shoot it in like a triangle arc. If I can actually I'll actually go into a game real quick and show how this works. Sorry, give me a second. So basically the change that I suggest for Counter-Strike is instead of a triangle in front of you, it's an AoE around you. So the way this works is you become invulnerable obviously for 1 second, and then after the second ends, you push away every enemy around you in an AoE. So you kind of like telekinesis them away from you, and then they take damage and are either stunned or slow, depends on what's balanced. In my opinion, slow is much more balanced. So no, actually I wrote something different, sorry. So you knock back them and then deal damage. The damage and knockback distance scales with the amount of damage you've taken up to like a maximum amount. Because right now, if I'll set level to 10, I'm taking random talents. So if you'll see, and I'll use Counter-Strike right here, it doesn't matter how much damage I take, I will always deal this 400 damage plus obviously sadism. So the damage and knockback will scale now with the damage you take. And it's in an AoE, so it's way harder to use offensively. Right now, a lot of times you'll be like cheesing it to take a little bit of damage, maybe DOT or something like that, and you'll just want to use it for the damage because the damage is insane. So this makes you think much harder on actually how you're using it, and it's much more of a defensive tool than an offensive tool. But if you are offensively, then this works really well. Additionally, this works with the level 7 talent, Masochism. Sorry. Yeah, Masochism, yeah. Which, so you get shielded, plus you deal like a bit of damage around you. So, really, really good change in my opinion. The other ult is actually the level 13 talent for him, called the Rite of Rakshir. I thought of a funny little joke. Change the name to By the Rite of Rakshir, and you'll understand why later. The Rite of Rakshir. So this kind of works the same. You target an enemy, killing it within 10 seconds increases sadism by, how much does it do right now? I think right now it's 5%, so that's 10%. But the whole cooldown part is removed. The cooldown is really long. I think right now Counter-Strike is 30 seconds. Really? I thought it's way longer. So I'll say about longer than usual. Like I want it to be longer than usual ults, so about 90 seconds or 80 seconds. And I'm not sure about reset. I don't think I want to do a reset. So it's also, I'm not sure if it's permanent or not. Right now, Rite of Rakshir is not permanent. It's until you die. I think might maybe permanent might work here, might not really get. That's after balancing. So I got now level 13 taking damage. Okay, yeah, this is if I'll go against the Alarak, level 13. So this is gonna replace pure malice. Taking damage increases sadism. So taking a quota of damage will give you bonus sadism and up to like 40%. So once it's a replacement for pure malice. In my opinion, pure malice is not a good talent. It's way too easy to stack if your team is not so good, and if they are, then it's pretty much useless. So not pretty much, you could still stack it, and it's still probably best out of like all three of them, but it's not very interesting. There isn't any skill expression, so this is in my opinion a better change for pure malice. Also, once again, this stacks with a level 7 talent, sadism. Yeah, so this is a change for Blades of the High Lord. Every third auto attack deals bonus damage and stacks sadism. This might be up to like 30% instead of 40%. I wrote a lot of bonus damage. 68 bonus damage is a lot, but so I'm not sure if this is good. So again, up to balancing this one. So it deals bonus damage and stacks sadism. Right now it's 2. That obviously needs to be increased. So it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as Blades of the High Lord right now. It's just an added bit of difficulty, but an added bit of reward. This could be scrapped entirely. Oh, sorry, I wrote something different. Okay, so every third auto attack deals 68 bonus damage. Hitting an enemy with auto attacks while they are silenced increases sadism. So it increases sadism by the same amount up to the same amount. So 2% up to 40%. But you have to hit them while they are silenced by Q. Okay, that's sorry, I just read what I wrote down. So I wrote down something different than I just said. Okay, so that's once again the same idea. It's actually the same amount that you get from the talent, maybe even let's say reduce maybe up to like 30% instead of 40%, but you also get the bonus damage. So it's not that the talent is hard, it is that the talent is harder to stack, but you also get something bonus from here. You get the bonus damage every third auto attack. This might be a bit too overpowered. Once again, they could keep it the same as it is right now, but I do think this is more interesting. Maybe what this could be is instead of 2% every time you hit an auto hero with an auto, it's 4% up to 30%. So it's easier to stack, but it's lesser overall, but it gives you the bonus damage every third time. That's probably what I'd say. So okay, this is a talent that I kinda like. So obviously Rite of Rakshir is not that old, so talent needs to be added here. This is a talent I think is quite creative. So it's an active. You spawn a rod of lightning that you could cast your E onto it. So instead of having to cast onto like a minion to hit another champion, or like do a champion with a champion, you can cast a rod. Now the rod actually has a really long cooldown on it, so it's not every E you could cast onto, because FCE is like a 6 seconds cooldown. This might be like a 20 seconds cooldown or 30 seconds cooldown. So it gives you a free E, but you can't use it often. It's not meant, because that will make the talent way too overpowered. So having it have a long cooldown, but you can cast your E onto it. Now the reason I like this is because it works with the level 16 talent, which is the same Lightning Barrage. I want to do it so that Lightning Rod, you can cast it twice, so you can cast your EE onto it. Right now you have to cast it to 2 different targets, but if you have the Lightning Rod, you can cast both E's onto the same Lightning Rod. If this proves to be underpowered, then I thought what could be cool is that the E deals the damage So when you first cast the E around it, it deals the same damage as like the middle part of your E. So it will work kind of like the Rhaegar E, the Earth Riding Totem, but it will deal the same damage to the middle part of your Lightning Surge. So I thought that might be a bit too overpowered, because you can just like cast it, then cast your E onto it. But then the level 16 does not work on it, so either one of the two. Another thought I had is that the lightning rod is longer cooldown, so like maybe 60 seconds cooldown, but hitting E reduces the cooldown. And then once again, up to balancing what to do exactly, but I thought this is a cool idea. Okay, we're now up to level 16, so that's a change to Lethal Onslaught. Hitting an enemy hero with an auto while they are silenced or slowed increases the damage, and it scales with Sadism. So this is just like Lethal Onslaught right now. So hitting an enemy with useless charge gets 50% of Sadism damage bonus. 2 Alaraks basic attacks for 4 seconds. Basic attacks refresh this duration. So it kind of works like this, but instead, the way I wrote this is that it deals the bonus damage. The bonus damage scales with Sadism, obviously, so that part is the same, but it's based on the duration they are silenced or slowed. So this is actually more of a passive than lethal like a Q talent. The way this also works is your auto attack slow, so hitting an enemy that is slow or silenced causes your auto attacks to also slow. The slow doesn't have to be big, just so the refreshing duration part is still there. If this proves to be too underpowered, then this could stay the same. This is just a neat little change of thought. So, because right now, if you blow your Q and you just cannot auto attack, then it kind of feels not rewarding enough for level 16 talent. But if you can auto attack, then this feels really, really good. This way, it also allows you to catch up to enemies easier, because your auto attacks apply slow. And you don't have to like actually use your Q. This could also scales with your W, which also works with your level 1 Relentless Momentum, right? I thought this is cool, a change, but once again, it doesn't need to exist. Lightning Barrage is the same, and Walking Strike is removed. Sorry, it's actually moved to level 20, but the effect it has is completely different. So, so this is oh no, sorry, this is not moved to level 20. I wrote this is a level 16 talent. Sorry. So this is Walking Strike. Immobilizing an enemy causes them to take bonus damage. So I thought this could be kind of cool. So you have a lot of like immobilization. You have your W as a you have your Q, and you have your ult. So you have a bit few immobilizing effects. So each time you like immobilize a champion in any sort of way, then they take bonus damage. I thought this is kind of neat. So you could use your W more offensively. And your offensive talents also, like your defensive talents like Counter Strike, also have a bit more damage. Once again, this scales with Sadism because it's a flat damage. So this is I don't know, I thought this is kind of cool. Level 20, this is pretty much like complete rehaul of all the level 20 talents. So the Counter Strike talent, honestly, I did not have a good idea for this one. They could go for a simple one, like taking enough damage causes the cooldown to be reduced, or maybe something cool is like taking enough damage causes your basic abilities to be reduced. That could be kind of cool. Now, the level 20 for the Right of Rack Shear, by the Right of Rack Shear, is actually one of my favorites. It's called I am High Lord. So it's kind of like completing the sentence by the Right of Rack Shear. I am High Lord. I didn't say it was a good joke. How this works is if you reach 200 or like 170 sadism or something like that, or enough stacks with by the right direction, then Alarak becomes empowered, and in his empowered form, he deals the AoE damage around him, probably very small AoE damage around him, and auto attacks are slightly ranged. So they have like a slightly ranged effect, so not like a full 5.5 ranged effect like normal, but maybe like a 3.5 effect, right? Something like that. So not fully ranged, but not like melee. Slightly ranged effect. If this proves to be overpowered, then that's where it can stop. Attack range plus damage around him might be just enough, but I thought it could also be cool if it gave him an execute. That might be a bit too overpowered, but so like if you target right of Rakshir with right of Rakshir, then it deals a slight missing health damage. So not a lot, but just enough. And remember, this is only when you're empowered, so you need to live long enough to have a lot of sadism, but once you get there, then you're empowered, and if you die, then you lose your sadism, so you're no longer empowered. I thought this is kind of cool. Hasty Bargain is one that I'm really weirded out by, in my opinion. This is not a good talent. I thought of some cool ideas for talents. So, one of the talents could be that it's like a reset. It's like this, so it resets the cooldown of the basic abilities, but the cooldown is extremely long. It's like 90 seconds. But hitting like all three abilities reduces the cooldown. So I thought that could be kind of cool. Last Laugh, I actually thought instead of being a defensive talent, it is kind of a defensive talent. I guess you could also use it offensively, but the offensive part of it is just not good. The offensive part of Last Laugh is just not good. I thought instead it is called Last Laugh. What if what it gave you is either death causes you to deal massive damage around you, that like is all your sadism, so all your sadism explodes, causing massive damage. So it actually makes sense. Last Laugh. It's literally his last laugh. Either that or then it like massively reduces his life down to 1. So it's like it's counting down like to 1 health. And the lower but it gives him like a lot of spell power, and the spell power also counts up. So once you activate it, you get like 10 spell power or sadism, like, because they're basically the same. But this is like timed sadism, so you get like 10 sadism or 10 spell power, and then your health starts to count down, then 20, then count down 30, then counts down. And then like when you reach 1 health point, then you get like a 50% spell power. Something insane, but you almost never want to actually use it. That could be kind of cool. It also can scale with like defensive talents. Right now there's only 1 defensive talent that it could scale with, which is a shield on level 7. But if there are others, like maybe I thought of like a level 13 talent that, or level 7 talent that killing enemies heals you, or your passive could do that. Killing enemies heals you, as I've said. So this also scales with that. But like if you do want to use it, then it's a massive amount of spell power, like 50% spell power. I thought that was kind of cool. So it's very similar to Zul'jin's baseline ability. I don't think it will write it, yeah, but he has like a baseline ability, which is an active that reduces his health by 50%, but then regenerates it. This does not regenerate it, just so we'll be clear. If this proves to be underpowered, then it could heal him a bit after, because this, after all, is a level 20 talent. Another level 20 talent I thought is ASPD, because I got sadism, I got masochism. This is ASPD. If you don't know, ASPD means antisocial personality disorder. And the way this could work is like it gives you some kind of permanent sadism. I didn't think exactly the details. Maybe like it makes all the stacks you get by the right of right shear permanent. I didn't think, but I thought the name is just funny enough that I have to mention it. So that's the alarak rework. Very melee based. This is something I like, in my opinion, to be a bit more risky, but have like the reward be much bigger. A lot of these are like quality of life changes instead of actual changes, but yeah, this is the build. Now I'm gonna have to start working on Artanis.